Well, here we go. Authentic student voice. This is super important in my classes because it's just something I want to hear you. And this video should explain pretty deep what I'm looking for and get into those things. When I think of authentic student voice, what I mean is number one, I want to hear you in your writing. You. I want to hear you. Okay, I don't want just words that are moved around. I want you to paraphrase things. I don't want you to copy and paste. Okay, I want to hear what you think, and you'll see in the places where I want to hear that. I would much rather something that is not perfect, but something that is perfectly you. And we'll talk about that some more. So, defining voice. So, voice is a specific literary device that encompasses the unique style, tone, and perspective through which a text is presented. So, your voice, in this case, in my classes, we're not talking so much about a literary voice, but it's this. I want to hear your style. I want to hear your tone. I want to hear your perspective. Okay. Um, Generally, when we're talking about literature, we discuss voice in relationship to the author, the narrator, or the characters in the story. You are the character in the story of this class. All right. So you are going to construct things in your own unique viewpoint. Your written responses to assignments in my class, discussions, and parts of projects in particular. And I'm going to go over these three areas where you write the most and kind of explain what that is. But when you use your voice, your own voice, you reveal your personality, your attitude, and your emotion, and it shapes the way that I and anybody else that reads what you do react to your responses. And I want to be blown away, or I just want to know, and I want to hear you. Okay, so what does this have to do with my class? Well, number one, bell ringers. Bell ringers are the entry level assignments that I ask for a thought or an idea about what we're going to study. For these type of assignments, I'm not really asking for your opinion or anything, and so they may be as simple as finding that information and putting it in there. All right, but I just want to know what you know. All right, or what you can learn real briefly. For instance, in Unit 1 in Government B, I ask a bell ringer question that's related to federal interactions. So you're probably going to get the information. Maybe you know something, maybe you don't know anything, but you're just going to respond to that question, even if that means doing the bit of research to get the response, right? Copying it from somewhere. It'd be like going to the textbook and finding the answer in there. That's okay. All right. For the next two things, discussions. These are the big ones. These are the questions that I ask you in the discussion don't just give me information or don't just answer the question, but they ask for your opinion. They ask for a reflection on how something is related to or how something impacts you. Your response needs to be that. If you just give me basic factual information, if you copy it from somewhere else, you're not going to get the points. I'm not going to tell you, oh, you plagiarized. We're not going to go through that. we You're just going to get a zero or you're going to get partial credit. It depends on the question and those kinds of things, but it's not going to be enough to pass. All right. And then finally, projects. And there are two types of projects in my class. There's big ones, which are called projects, and there's smaller ones called enrichment activities. For all of these assignments, okay, there are often times where you have to answer just general lower level type questions, and those you can answer any way that you want to get that information. But then there's also going to be a part where you reflect on what you've learned. Okay, and that's when I need to hear your voice again. All right, so what I mean is I don't want AI generated responses unless we're using a specific tool or we are specifically using that tool, which I do in a few of my assignments, because it's not um, it is a tool that you need to know how to use properly, and we're going to continue to expand our use of that in your whole in everywhere. And I'm trying to give you some ideas on how that works. Your true thoughts and opinions matter more to me than getting something right. So, really, honestly, if you give me 16 sentences that I know you've pulled from another source, that doesn't mean anything to me. I can do that. All right. But what I can't do is know right off the top of my head what you think about something. And I really want to know what you think about something. All right. And then finally, and I mean this, my favorite responses are the ones that I really hear my students' voice in. So I really want to know you. And that's why I say don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to express yourself. Obviously, use educationally appropriate responses, but don't not be afraid. Don't be afraid to, number one, ask me questions if you don't understand, and number two, express your opinion. If you don't agree with something, say you don't agree with it, and tell. But you got to tell me why, right? That's the most important thing. You can't just say I don't agree and then walk away. So when you do that, you don't really engage with the topic. All right. So let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.